Hey Doug, what's up?
So that's night care right there. And man, this has been quite a trip. I didn't expect that it would be emotional. But I guess when you're dealing with kids in situations like this, it's easy. I don't know what I was expecting. Anyways, when we first got here, it was really crazy and hectic. It's not organized at all like most airports that I've been to, but then again, most of the trips I go on are to nicer places, so I guess that explains that. I mean, even this place is like run down and gross. It's kind of beautiful in a weird way. They just make everything work the way it is. It's kind of strange. I mean, like, this is an abandoned hospital that I'm on right now that's right next to night care. On our way to the place we're going, we had to go through crazy streets. Like, it feels like you're gonna get in a wreck and die at least once a mile. You never know what to expect. I mean, like, they turn a 2-lane road into a 5-lane or 6-lane road like it's no big deal.
We trust our driver very much. He's doing a great job. I'm just gonna leave my flag. Yeah.
Oh, big pothole there. Here we go. This guy, I trust him. I trust him with my life.
Right?
This guy's great. Kalam? Yeah? I'm gonna remember you.
Doug gets a tattoo with him.
Oh man, there's a big old bump. Did you see the tuk-tuk up there? Look at that. Oh man, that's great. Yeah. I mean, just looking how beat up that bus is.
That's the only thing she likes. Did you get that?
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, after a while, you just have to start laughing at it because you're like, I could die, this is crazy. But, I mean, it is what it is, and they drive it every day, so I guess they know what they're doing. Kalum, our driver, he is an insanely awesome driver. Scary driver, but he's good. He knows right where the edge of his car is. Way better than I will ever know any car I ever drive. And then we had to take a ferry, which some vehicles, they said they wait a day or two to get onto, which is just insane how many cars are waiting to go across. So these are the buses that wait like days to get on the ferry?
Yeah. It's a big challenge for our country. It's the long queues.
We got across because we're a smaller car and you can kind of get on pretty quick. And then when you're on there, it's just like a whole, it's like its own little world there. They have shops and stuff on the ferry where people try to sell you, and not like normal shops, just like little setups. People try to sell you like bananas and whatever else. And then there's lady boys and prostitutes on there trying to convince you that it's a good deal. Try it out. It's kind of gross having lady boys hang on the car and make some really obscene gestures at you. But I don't know, try not to judge. Different worlds, I guess. It's crazy. But anyways, I said no, so feel pretty good for abstaining there. Oh, brother. But there's beggars everywhere. It's really sad. They just hold their hand out and then you have to tell them to go away. And because I guess our translator was saying that they're all pretty much acts, that they'll show you pictures of their kid or a kid. They say it's their kid. That, oh, they need surgery, they need money for this, they need money for that. But all of it's just, they share that picture with all their other beggar friends and do the same thing. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. So, we're at the second place in Bangladesh, and have you ever seen the movie The Beach? This reminds me very much of that little window they had in the beach, like, where I think it was Ducky. The other guy in the next room kept on, like, climbing through to talk to Leonardo DiCaprio. Anyways, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But yeah, it's actually a lot bigger room than I'd expect for this place. But yeah, yesterday was just, like, driving around and dodging buses at full speed. And so it's like a 2-lane road for us, and they make it into a 4, possibly 5-lane road. It's just like a really busy place. Like they have like one main road everywhere, and everyone's always on it. And it's like, you know, you have stretches of like farmland and stuff, or, you know, breaks in population or whatever. They don't have that here at all. It's every part of the road is taken up by somebody living there or building things there. It's really overpopulated. So eventually we finally got here, and it's pretty cool. Like they just fully painted the night care, and it looks nice. They have beds for all the kids, toys for all the kids, and there's a lot of kids already showing up for just being open. So it's kind of impressive that there's such a big turnout. There's room for improvement, of course, but that's why we're here, to see, you know, what we can do better to help support the community and the kids, and get stories to help raise funds for that. And I came here with Lauren. She's pretty awesome. I'll put her link in here somewhere if I can find it. She does a lot of awesome stuff. I guess she was just working on like House of Cards and all this other stuff. So yeah, pretty impressive lady. She's really good at like working in crazy environments like this. I'm pretty new to it. So it's been nice kind of learning from her and seeing how she handles all this. We also came with Emily from Saving Moses, and she's like a really phenomenal photographer. So it's like, and I'm just some video guy. So, they both are getting a lot of the really good content, and I'm kind of just there hanging out, making sure everyone's safe, I guess. Although I'm the one that got injured, so go figure. I rolled my ankle pretty bad. It like popped out of socket a little bit, and then I had to keep walking on it. It was numb, and then eventually we had to kind of get out of there. We were getting like a crowd, so I kept going, and eventually it popped back into socket, and I could feel my foot again, which was nice. But it's still like, I was like, ooh, that hurt a lot. But now it's all purple and bruised. I think it's gonna be fine, but I'm gonna go to a doctor and get it checked out anyways. I mean, I can walk just fine. My favorite part about the trip so far is that I have no idea what anyone is saying. And they have no idea what I'm saying. and yet for some reason we'll stand next to each other. They'll say something to me, and I'll say, "Oh, I don't only speak English, no Bengali," and they go, "Okay." Like, I have no idea what they're saying, but they keep trying to talk back and forth. Maybe I'll understand a word, maybe they'll understand a word I say, and we just sit there and smile and nod, not having any idea what the other one's saying. So yeah. So every time we would say thank you in their language, they would laugh, and we didn't know why. So we'd say "Dondaba," and then they'd laugh. And then yesterday, we're almost done with the trip. Today's our last day here before we start heading back, and we find out they don't say their word for thank you. They say thank you or thanks. So the one word we got good at, we think, is the one word they don't use anymore. So, whoops. Thank you, internet, for misinforming us. But it's just crazy to seeing, like, everywhere you look. I mean, the sides of the roads that you think would be like countryside, there's people working, like tons of people working on things, doing things, and living there. It's like there's no unoccupied spaces by the highway or by the road. It's not what I'm used to at all, so it's kind of weird. And then I was talking to our translator, and she was saying that anything right on the side of the road is an illegal shop or an illegal home, and people just build there anyways, and then they get kicked out by the police, and then they come back 2 days later and start selling stuff again. So I mean, I'm noticing there's obviously no traffic police. I've seen lots of ambulances, but no traffic police. So I'm wondering how much actual law enforcement there really is here. That's probably why everything's so hectic and crazy on the road, of course. But then how they just get away with doing whatever they want here too. So, less government, this is what you get. One of the first stories that we encountered was this guy, Ronnie, who's a ladyboy. He goes by Sweet Tea. And Sweet Tea plays very flamboyant all the time, and then occasionally you see like a real moment where it's obviously it's to kind of hide the real emotions of the things that they've been through. They grew up in the brothel, and she even said, I'm like this because I grew up in the brothel, because I'm a child of the brothel, and they devote a lot of their time to helping saving Moses with night care and all that stuff, and they help the community a lot to make sure that Saving Moses has a good name, and that everyone knows that we're here to help the kids, and we won't harm them, and we're just there to help them keep the kids safe at night. And it's really cool to see that. Sweet Tea likes to pretend to be all fun and games, but really, has a good heart and just wants to see kids flourish and not end up like she did. So, really cool story there. Can't wait to post that one whenever Lauren gets it done. Lauren's doing an awesome job. Like, she handles it all really well. So I know she's going to come back with some really good videos from it. It's crazy seeing kids that are my kids' age running around and just being crazy. My little friend that we don't speak the same language, so I have no idea what his name is. I have an idea, but I don't think it's actually his name. I can't tell. I wouldn't know anyways because he can't confirm it. But I always come out here, and he's always out here. He only has one arm, and I never asked him about it or anything, but he's always running around, and he seems to run the place out of all the kids his age. And he's just like crazy. He'll jump and go do anything. And then someone told me his story because I was hanging out with him. They're like, "Oh, I want to tell you about him." And I guess he was abandoned as like really little, like a little toddler. He was abandoned by his mom, and so the way he got food was he would use milk from dogs, and that's how he survived. And then he would just do odd jobs to try to make money to earn money for food, and he would just do all the crazy things like climb trees and go on top of the trains to load this stuff. And I guess he fell off of one of the trains that passed by here, and it scarred his face up here and up here, and he lost his arm. And he still has such a good spirit, And then the other day I'm walking around, and guess where he's at? He's running across and jumping up on top of the train. Hey, how's it going? Hey! All right. And he was just waving at me, and it's like, oh man, buddy. I guess he didn't learn from it, but at least he's still got a good attitude, and he's hilarious. And then the harder part was when I saw this little girl. She's about, I don't know how old she was at the time, and she's walking around with what I thought was her kid, but I was like, she looks really young. There's no way that's her kid, and it was a little baby. And then someone was saying, oh, it's her nephew, and I was like, okay, good. She looks way too young to have a kid. And they're like, oh yeah, she's 10 years old, and my son Noah's 10 years old. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she said she's a next generation sex worker, and I lost. I had to hide my face, because she's a little kid, and they're already grooming her for what's next. I mean, I don't know how to take that. I mean, she's my son's age, and she's already learning whatever. Because I start around 13 here. 13 years old is when they can start them in their sex working, so the moms can earn money from their child. I don't know how to fix that. Like, where's... They need money. It's the only way they can make money. They're ousted from the community the second they become a sex worker. Even if they're trafficked by their family so their family can get money, and they sell their daughter here, that daughter can never go back to her family again, because the family won't accept her, because, oh, you're gross, you're a sex worker, even though they're the ones that sold her into it. So their choice is to do this, or walk around society, not be able to get a job, not be able to do anything, because it was a choice that was not made by them. And that's how they have to live, is to be the scum of the earth here, you know. But when they're here in the brothel, they're looked at as peers and equals, and they're not treated with disrespect, and so they assume this is the best place for them. It's just really hard to hear that. And then last night, Lauren went into the brothel, and she went and got footage of, you know, what goes on at night there, and not the sex stuff and all that, but, you know, just the community there, and what kids are at risk that are still in the community at night while that's going on. And she came back, and I mean, she was really emotionally she was just really emotional. I felt really bad for her after seeing that just gross everything. She said there was kids the moms would send out and take the money, and the kids would dance for them, all the men, and I don't know. I haven't seen the footage yet, but I'm going to be editing it for a while, so I don't want to see it yet. But seeing how upset she was, that's enough for me to know what was most likely going on, and just disturbed. I mean, I have kids that are right around that age, and not that makes me any more qualified to be emotional about it, but just you picture your kids in those situations and how hard that must be. But then you see the moms pushing it because it's a societal norm, you know. It's what they're used to. It's how they survive. So, anyways, it's been an interesting trip. Luckily, there's been lots of humor and laughter throughout it at how awkward the situation is, that you've been able to get by and put a smile on, I guess. But I'm sure I'll be processing this for quite some time. A little bit right now, actually. So, anyways, yeah, anytime I do one of the videos for Saving Moses on this side, we'll definitely post a link to it and mention it on here so you can check it out. And right now, I'm gonna head back to the long, crazy drive back to the airport and go on my 30-hour journey home. See you then.
দিতে পারে আর আছে না
যদি কথা বলি
আবার কি লেগে আছে বললো রাখতে দিল একটু টলি
সামনে বাইক
কথা
there is no